deep stuff. And it's ironic that you would call it digging deep. An interesting fact, I never look back when I'm driving the bus. 2016 was my first Comrades, and that year the slogan was "Is October
will humble you."
And that is the best slogan to describe Comrades.
Wow.
Because it humbles you. It strips you from arrogance. You thinking you've got money and everything. On that road, none of that matters.
Wow.
Right next to the bus driver. I mean, this is the bus that nobody can afford to miss. And most importantly for the bus driver, the bus that can't afford to be late.
If not me, who?
Yeah.
I had to learn that phrase over the years. I then got hit with a blow in 2011.
You had a huge sense of accomplishment.
Absolutely.
Through this bus that is so heavy with purpose. So many people in your bus have their own stories.
Yes.
And they are here to get their own therapy and escape or healing from whatever it is they're going through.
And a week after my husband was buried, I was then diagnosed with cancer. I have a pit stop every 3 kilometers to go to the bathroom because I ate the wrong food. And I tell them, listen, we are all suffering here. No one is special. If you are cramping, if you're in pain, we're all cramping and we're all in pain. There's nothing special.
What's up, peeps? Welcome to another episode of Deep Diaries, where we bring you some real raw stories from pretty much soldiers, people that have gotten off the couch, people that have pushed their bodies to the limits, people that have gone out there, faced some pain, and came out stronger. Today, we talk to a leader, if I may call her, somebody who has shown some selfless leadership, dedicating a lot of her races to helping people achieve their goals. Join us, let's meet. Shahieda, thank you so much for making time to talk to us. Really appreciate it. I was truly inspired when I watched you, driving your bus, and I'm a bit excited sitting here today, right next to the bus driver. I mean, this is the bus that nobody can afford to miss. And most importantly for the bus driver, the bus that can't afford to be late. There's very little room for error. So there's a lot of questions that we're looking to unpack from your finish line going backwards. Why you do this, what drives you. So yeah, thank you so much, Shahieda, for coming out. And if we can maybe start off with telling us a little bit about yourself and some background.
Thank you for having me first and foremost. I'm just a little colored girl who went through deep stuff, and it's ironic that you would call it digging deep. I grew up in Klipspruit West, very colored area, and we are known for steaking mess, getting a lot of babies. I mean that's what my people are known for. And I then had to make conscious decisions growing up. My late mother was a foster parent, and there were always a lot of kids at home. So I always had to sacrifice something for someone. The child welfare would bring kids to my home at Fridays where the mother and father either was in jail or the child was abandoned. So we always had to share. Used to eat out of this big dish where, you have to grab the meat. If you don't grab your meat first, you're not going to get meat, my brother.
Survival of the fittest.
It's for survival. So survival mode has always been there. And got married, stayed in a back room with this guy.
Yeah.
We built our little empire. Had our firstborn. She unfortunately passed away when she was 11 months. It was rough.
Yeah, sure. Sorry to hear
really
that.
crap happens when you're partying naked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if not me, who?
Yeah.
I had to learn that phrase over the years. Because we
It's
always
quite deep,
tend to-
yo.
yeah.
You could write a book with that statement. If not me, who? It's
Yeah.
almost as if you can't go out there, I guess, feeling deserving of all things good and
Absolutely.
questioning anything that's deviating from that.
From that.
That's what life is. It's going to give you
Absolutely.
those punches.
Yeah. I then got hit with a blow in 2011. He went for an op, something simple, piles, hemorrhoids, whatever they call it. And after the op, he never recovered. He got very ill. And then in July, on the 29th, 2011, he passed.
So sorry to hear that.
Yeah, sure. The wind was out of my sails.
The world fell apart.
It came crashing, from having a system whereby I never bought groceries. I never paid for groceries.
Yeah.
I would just go
Yeah.
to the food racks and
Yeah.
take and put it in
Yeah.
the basket, and he would pay it. During the month, when things are short, like milk, and
Yeah.
that was my duties.
Yeah.
But the bond, the cars, the food, and everything, he took care of.
Yeah,
And now it disappears.
sure,
I had to learn basic survival things
sure.
by myself.
Sure. You really felt like, what now?
Yeah. My daughter was 6 years old at
Yeah.
the time. And I was like, sure, where do we start? Now I have to take a car to a car wash.
Sure.
I'm responsible for renewing a disc.
Sure. And you don't know how that's done. Where do you go? You just know it gets sorted and
It's just
it's on the
there.
screen. Yeah.
Yeah, like Mondays, I start the car, it's
It's
clean.
sorted. Yeah,
like
yeah.
something happened during the night, the car was
Yeah.
washed. And I had to relearn
Sure.
things. And a week after my husband was buried, I was then diagnosed with cancer. And sure. And now I had to go through chemo. And we watch documentaries
Yeah.
or movies on TV where people have cancer and they show you how ill people get. The hair falls out, they puke, they can't even carry themselves to the bathrooms. And this now starts playing in my mind.
Shit,
And-
that is this way I'm headed now.
Yeah, and I'm like, gosh, my daughter is 6 years old at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Her dad just passed. And in my mind, I'm a dead woman walking. Because I don't see the cure here. I don't know anything about it. I then get a very amazing oncologist from Donald Gordon. And he walks the journey with me from the first consultation, and he then starts telling me it's not a death sentence. But I still don't believe it because, hey, listen, what I've seen on TV is what it is. I then went through the consultation, and then I started with chemo. My hair then starts falling out, and it never grew back the way it was. A beautiful locks. Oh, I miss it. And my nails discolored. And while I was sitting there, I started looking at the patients who were there, from kids to very old, elderly, not old, I hate that word, to the elderly. And I was looking at the levels of
The severity.
cancer,
Yeah.
the
how
severity
severe
is
it
the
can
word,
get.
how
Yes,
severe it can
yes.
get. And I was like, at least I am bed kangaka.
Yeah.
It then started playing in my mind
Yeah. That you still got a chance. You still
that I
got.
still have a chance.
Yeah.
But by then, I haven't grieved my husband's
Husband.
death,
Yes.
really.
Yeah.
Because from the death, it's cancer.
Yeah.
So there was no, let me grieve first.
Yeah, and then deal with
and
this.
then deal with this.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't.
Yeah.
Because if I waited, it probably would have been worse. I would not have been seated here. I then started being severely depressed. like severely. I hit rock bottom because I always ask myself daily, why is this happening? What have I done? Kanti, this guy.
And I'm guessing you started to, not show up socially. You preferred being behind
Yes.
your door, and friends started, realizing that, hey, when last did you see Shahieda?
Yeah.
And then you just went spiraling into your hole there, trying
Exactly.
to heal and going through anger. Why me? Were you working at the time? How did
I
it
was.
impact work? How did it impact you showing up as a mother?
I think it's one thing I learned. I could show up for work and still perform, but I was going through cancer and stuff, so I didn't get much responsibilities because I had a very understanding boss, and I was going through grief, and so they didn't give me a lot of responsibilities, but I showed up, and I actually then took on more responsibilities at work because I really delved myself into work. It kept me sane.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, if I don't work, what is this child going to eat?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. But also, I guess it keeps you distracted, and it doesn't give you enough time to, I guess, face your new reality and your loss. And your mind is occupied with something else. Focus on the job.
On the job, absolutely. I started, one day I left my house. I went to a veld. I just walked out with a knife in my hand, and I wanted to end it all. Got to the corner in this open veld, started slicing my wrist. It didn't work. Well, I'm sitting here, so clearly it didn't work. And when I was slicing my wrist, I'm like, Hamara, nothing is happening. I went back home. I thought, maybe not today. We're going to try it again. I went walking. Oh, and then I looked at the knife, by the way, that I took. I was cutting myself with the handle of the knife, number one. It was the bluntest knife in the house, number two. And number three, it was a family heirloom that was just handed. You know that knife that the Coco gave? And it's just
It's
there.
been through a lot of hands.
Yes, and I then now started thinking about ancestral realm.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I had to grab that one.
Yeah.
And this was probably my granny saying,
Yep.
like, why?
You gotta face this.
You gotta face this.
Yeah. Your time hasn't come.
It hasn't. And the fact that I was so consistent in using the handle, I didn't even realize it. I only saw it after my third attempt.
That it's quite blunt, and your odds of succeeding with that were not going to.
Yeah, while I'm sitting here, so clearly it didn't succeed.
Very little to none.
Yes. And I then laughed at the stupidity of it. Well, for myself, I won't say for others it's stupid, because I can't put myself in someone else's shoes, you know? And I laughed and laughed. And I then started walking more often, because also with the medication from the cancer
treatment.
The cancer treatment, I put up quite a bit of weight. But for me, it was never about the weight. I could care less what people said about my weight.
You were going through a lot, and there's a lot.
Yes, it was cortisone. I picked up a lot of weight, water retention, a lot of that. So I then started walking more often. And then I was like, but wait, this dude who's now like 6 feet under and I met at the gym. I then started going back to the gym.
Sure. And that's quite a pivotal moment, and it's a moment that I really want to take some time to unpack, because I'm really interested in how that story and your challenge, having diagnosed with cancer, having lost your husband who was your everything, and how you then find yourself at the gym using it as some form of therapy, I guess, some sort of a tool to help you go on. And how from that you then get into the running.
Yeah. So when I then started going back to the gym, I took my daughter with, because it was always my husband and myself going to the gym. So it's the Tungos going there. My maiden surname is Boysen. So now I'm married to this
The
Zulu
Zulu
man who's
culture, yes.
Tungo. And
Yes.
I love the heritage. I love the
Yes,
culture.
yes.
I love everything about it.
Yes.
You know, because he made me fall in love with it.
Yeah.
And then now the Tungos started going back to the gym. It's why my registration on my car is being Tungos like forever.
Yeah.
And we then had that. So my daughter then became me, and I then became my late husband.
Yeah.
And his friends at the gym were still there. They used to call him Tyson. He was a very big man, you know.
Yeah.
Used to do weightlifting and all of that. And I then started walking more often. I went back to spinning classes, and my clothes started falling off because now the weight is now.
Yeah.
But I found solace in walking, because I could then think, come up with solutions,
Yeah.
or just think, even if there's no solution, because not everything has a
So
solution.
you just go for a long walk.
We just go
Just
for
get
a long walk.
away and
Absolutely.
and not even be mindful of how far you're going or what time is it.
And just go.
You just keep going.
Yeah.
To try.
Yeah, my daughter said to me once, "Mommy, you're not taking the knife again, eh?" And I said, "No." And then I also then realized she saw that I went with the knife.
Wow.
But well, she didn't know what I was going to do with it.
Yeah.
But she saw, and I was like, sure, kids are resilient, eh? And
Sure.
kids see things.
And at the time, she didn't say anything.
She didn't say
And I
anything.
guess you assume
She
she's
didn't
not
know.
aware. Yes.
Absolutely.
And I guess with that also comes her version of the trauma of what's happening.
And we then started walking, and walking then became jogging. Then one day I went to a race at the zoo. And I was going to the gym actually.
Yeah.
At Mill Park, and it was quite packed. And I was like, why are there so many people, many cars here? The gym is so full.
Yeah.
And then someone said, no, there's a race up the road, a road race. They're doing 10K and whatever. I'm like, oh, I used to be a runner at school. I can run. And this is me going to the race.
Yeah.
And back then we could still enter on race morning. The races didn't get sold out that much. I show up on my way there in my backpack. I buy some supplies at the garage because I'm going to run a marathon, right?
Yeah.
I get to the race. I enter for 10K. And 10K is a marathon. Please, you're not going to tell me otherwise. Please. I enter for the race, and I stand right at the front. And at the race, even in cycling, the elites are at the front.
Yeah, they put it in batches. They call it seeding.
And this is now me standing at the front, with these elites. And, elites look very different.
Yeah, even the way they would dress, the way they would carry themselves. You can just tell that these guys look different from everyone else.
Yes, their body, the muscle, the toe.
Even their gear.
Their bikes.
The techies that they have on, very different
it's
from
very
yours.
different from what I'm wearing. But listen, this girl was not phased at all, because I used to run at school.
Yeah.
And I'm standing at the front, and everyone is looking at me. Like, that side eye.
This one. Will she make it to the corner? Let's see.
I'm sure when you go and ride, if you're at the front, they also look at this one's bike is already not that aluminium kind of thing. No, my brother, take your BMX to the back, So, and the gun goes off, and I run. My chest burns because I sprint like everyone overtook me in the first 200 meters of the race. And I finished eventually the 10K marathon.
Yeah.
Very sore, very exhausted,
Yeah.
because I haven't been training.
Yeah.
I know nothing about running.
Yeah.
But it's the most precious medal I have. And I finish. Following day, I don't go to work because I'm very ill, because I ran a marathon. I'm horizontal, I'm paining all over, but I loved the feeling. I went back. Now, this was around, I think, September or so.
Yeah.
I went back for another race. This was August.
Yeah.
Went back for another race.
Yeah.
Another one. But
And another
10Ks
one, and another one.
And another one.
Tell us about that feeling. If you were to unpack it a little, what does that feeling look like? Is it a physical thing? Is it a thing about being present, the nature? Is it a spiritual escape? How do you explain that feeling that you love?
I call it a euphoria, because you can't really explain it. It's a sense of peace, a sense of sheer achievement. I did it by myself. I showed up. I can do this. And during all of this, while I was so very suicidal, when I started walking, before I started walking, my doctor then, because I was clinically depressed, my doctor wanted to put me on antidepressants. And I then said to him, no, let me go try something else, right? Give me the benefit of the doubt. Let me try something else. When I come back,
Yeah.
and I'm still
Not showing any improvement.
then we can go the medical route. But let me try something first. And he said to me, ooh, what are you going to use? I said, no, don't worry, it won't be substance.
Yeah.
I just want to go through this.
Yeah.
Because I then realized I need to feel to heal.
Sure.
And I'm the type of person who really go through the mud.
Yeah.
To make it out alive.
Yeah.
On the other side.
Yeah.
And if I don't go through it, I might relapse. So let me feel, let me get great, let me go through it. And then if it doesn't work, then we will revisit. Because I had a friend who was on antidepressants at the time, and she was not in touch of her feelings, and that is something I didn't want.
I hear you.
She was very dependent on the meds.
And it's almost as if there was this numbness about everything. It's difficult to be very happy, and it's also difficult to be down. And
absolutely.
You just constantly
on a monotone. And I said, no, I don't think that is what I want. I really want to feel. If I need to cry, I want to cry. And you know that cry whereby it's the snot, it's the tears, it's all of that. And I cry it out, and after that, I feel better.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go through it.
Yeah.
And then that's how the walking and running then started.
Yeah, it was really your therapy.
It was my therapy. Yeah. So I then started doing the running, and then so the feeling every time of going to a run or walk and come back, and it's a sense of calm and sheer happiness. My daughter would see me happy. So I would go, that was my high, basically. I would go to that drug of choice and come back. I'll be on this high. And the high stayed. Yeah. You know, it's not the high that goes and then it drops.
Yeah.
And then I kept on going back.
And the people around you could also experience a different Shahieda.
Yes. And in all of this, my mother-in-law has been my rock. Of course, in this, my mom then also passed.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law has been there for me. I mean, you hear horror stories about mother-in-laws. I don't know
what
because
it is
I
like
don't
to
know
have
what
a
it
mean
is.
mother-in-law.
To have a mean mother-in-law, because she's been there for me,
Yeah.
that woman. I mean, even when I was going through chemo, she would come where I couldn't get out of bed,
Yeah.
and I soiled the bed. She'd be there, and she would literally look after me.
Yeah.
So I will never write that woman off.
Yeah.
Like, we've been through hell and high water together.
Yeah.
I then entered for 21K race, and it's Soweto Marathon, the half marathon. I ran that, and then signed up for Two Oceans,
Yeah.
56 the following year. So this was in 2014. And 2015, I went to run my first Two Oceans,
Wow.
56.
Yeah.
I was supposed to run 21Ks, but I lost my place while I was waiting to pay for the OTP from the bank.
Yes.
And then now I had to go to the back of the queue, and the entries got sold out. And there is a 56 kilometers. And a colleague of mine back then, she was also a runner. And she said, no, girl, you've got this. You just ran 21K. Come on, man, do the 56. I'm sure in riding you also get that. Just do 94.7.
Yeah, what's an extra couple of kilometers?
Just an extra couple. you just rode 20K. Yeah. Let's go for 100K ride. And you find yourself going to ride 100. And you are like, you easily sold, and you do it. So I signed up for the 56 kilometers, and then now there's a little matter of qualifying.
Oh, okay. Yes.
That I knew nothing about.
Yeah.
I had to run a marathon in under 5 hours.
Yeah.
And don't worry, girl, you got this.
Yeah.
You just ran a 21. It's just another 21,
Yeah.
Looks good on paper. And I go and run my first marathon. In January, end of Jan. It was like 38 degrees. I know nothing about nutrition at that time. Running wrong shoes. I'm wearing all the wrong gear.
Sure.
I'm wearing my gym shorts, my gym shoes, my hockey socks. I used to play hockey. I wear those. Wrong bra. Everything was wrong, and I went to run. Was it a long day?
Yeah. Yeah.
I chafed everywhere. I didn't know about your
chafing and your creams, anti-chafing creams.
Anti-chafing creams. Because even in riding, you need those things, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I chafe everywhere. I have a pit stop every 3 kilometers to go to the bathroom because I ate the wrong food. But I finished that marathon.
You made your cutoff.
No. I came in about 6 hour couple.
Yeah.
And I was off work, I think, for 3 days.
You were broken after that.
Boy.
Sure.
I was horizontal. Sure. But I was like with a medal.
Congrats on finishing that. It was quite an achievement because I think it does something to you knowing that you finished.
Absolutely. It really did. I did something right. And I went through hardships on that route, but I finished.
Yeah.
And while I was running, I was last. And I started praying. I'm not very religious, but I'm spiritual. I believe I'm deep rooted in ancestry.
Okay.
And in the Almighty, whoever the Almighty is.
Yes, that higher power.
That higher power.
Whatever it looks like.
Whatever it looks like. And I then said, Almighty, please let me pass one person. At least one person. I don't want to be number last. And I will pay it forward. I pass one runner. I pass another one. And I pass a third one. And I kind of, at least
We're making progress.
We're making progress. And then I changed the prayer while on that road. I said, Almighty, please help me save at least one person to not feel as horrible as I'm feeling right now.
Wow.
Let me help one person to get to the finish who is struggling or just need company because
Yeah.
it's really lonely
Yeah.
here at the back. And let that be my purpose.
Wow.
And I then picked up a guy.
Wow. And that was quite pivotal for you, because I'm guessing this is where your drive and dedication to helping others was pretty much born, where you took that decision to say, okay, it's not going to be about me. I got to help someone else,
Absolutely.
because I know what it feels like
Yes.
to pretty much
Suffer.
crawl.
Yes. And I found this one guy who was just done with the race. And I said to him, let's just go. And he's like, no, I'm not qualifying. I said, dude, neither am I. But let's go and finish.
Yeah.
And we ran together
Yeah.
to the finish.
Yeah.
And he was so grateful. And then my boss then asked me after the race that evening, my ex-boss, she asked, how did it go? I said, ooh, girl, I died a million deaths today. I died. Then she asked me what happened. And the first thing I said to her, when I got home, I stepped in the shower and I was screaming.
Sure.
Then she asked, what were you wearing? And I sent her pictures of what I was wearing. She said, wrong, 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 wrong. Everything I said to her, wrong, 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 wrong. What did you eat? No, I had a smoothie yesterday. I had a bean curry and all of that. No wonder you had a pit stop every 3 kilometers and the toilet, dehydrated and all of that. And she said, but you finished. And that's important. I then had to go shopping for getting proper gear. She said, let's get you proper gear, get your feet analyzed, how you're running, get analyzed, and find a tribe that will firstly hold you responsible to show up and where you can learn from. And I'm like, where am I going to find these people? She said, go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning. You are going to find runners. And I'm like, 4:30? No. Dude, no.
I got to kick my blankets now.
No, that's too early. No one, like, just go and run that time of the morning. She said, go to the gym. You will find people there. And I went to the gym. And true to God, they were there.
Wow.
I asked, okay. Oh, I asked her, so what do I say to them when I get there? She said, just say to them, you want to run with them. That's
it.
all.
Introduce yourself, and then I'm here to run.
I'm here to run, and ask them, tell them you need to qualify for 2 Oceans and you need help, and tell them you know nothing about running. Because I think that's the thing that most of us have. We always think we know, but we don't. And we're scared to say, I don't know. And that's what I did. I went to them. I said, I don't know anything about running. I need to qualify. I need help. And I started training with them. The first day I ran with them, they were doing a speed session. My ears were burning. I was going through the most. But I went back. Did then hill repeats, did grass, and I found my tribe. And then a month later, I went to run my qualifying marathon. And as I was running by myself. I had no watch, I had nothing. I just ran. But now I was comfortable. I was wearing the proper sports bra, proper shoes, socks, and proper gear. And I
You started using your anti-chafing cream, and so running didn't have to be as painful.
Because during that race, I was like, but this thing is not supposed to be so painful. Like, it can't be so horrible because people clearly keep coming back to this. Like, then why? You know? And as I was running that marathon now where I went to qualify, I was running by myself, listening to my natural rhythm, and just went. Run, walk, chanting to myself, and people started following me.
Wow.
So I know, started wait, now I have a shadow.
Wow.
Because when I walk, they walk, and I count myself. And they chanting whatever I'm chanting. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, well.
You didn't have the little, what do you call it?
The tambourine thing? No. I just talked to myself. Because I became my hype girl. my own hype girl.
Yeah.
As in this journey.
Yes.
I
yes,
became
yes.
my own
So
hype girl.
your own cheerleader.
I hate that word.
Okay.
But I was rooting. I'd rather say that. I don't.
Okay.
The thing with being a cheerleader is you clap hands and that's it.
Okay.
So I prefer calling it an anchor
Okay. Something
or
a bit
rooting,
deeper.
something a bit
Yeah.
deeper.
Deep.
Don't like the word
I hear
cheerleader.
you.
And I then became a hype girl and I'm running and people are doing what I'm doing. So on that route, one guy said, "Thank you, bus driver." And I'm like looking around. I don't see a bus. Clearly he's not talking to me. Running.
What bus?
What bus? And like, "Yo, bus driver, we're going to run sub-5." And I don't respond because
I'm not.
you
a
ain't
bus
talking to
driver.
me.
Yeah,
You know, I'm not
yeah.
a bus driver. And I run.
Yeah.
And we get to the finish at 4:58. No
Wow.
watch, no listen, no Strava, no nothing. Just run and listening to my body.
Wow.
And eat on now on the road, and because I've learned a bit now in this train
how
that
to
I've been,
how to eat
properly and things. And thank you, bus driver, hugging me. And I'm like, okay, now I need to ask. Mogai, bus driver, you go.
Yeah.
I didn't know it's you. I think, me? No.
Yeah.
Ngati, I can parallel park. Those were my words.
Yeah.
I got a Code 8 driver's license
Yeah.
and I have no PDP.
There's no way I'm driving a bus.
There's no way I'm
full of
driving a
people.
bus. And he's like, "No, man, not that bus. Like, you are the bus driver. It means you are the pacer.
Yeah.
You took us to the finish." And then I'm like, "No, but what do you mean?" And then he says, "No, when you were walking, did you see us walking?" "Yes." I said, "I was wondering why you guys were doing that."
Yeah.
But, we really liked how you run, your rhythm.
Yes.
And we just trusted you. I said, "No, but there are people that are running with the tambourine and whatever."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, so."
Wow.
I said, "Dude, today was actually my first marathon that I'm qualifying at." And he said, "Yeah, so."
Wow.
There's just that thing. And the way you were talking to us. I said, "No, but I didn't talk to you. I was
Yes.
talking to myself."
Yes.
I said, "No, you were talking to us. And you prayed on the road. And didn't you hear saying amen and those things?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did." I was like wondering why.
Wow.
And that's where the bus driving was born.
Wow.
So it literally found me. I didn't go look for it. I was just this girl running and yeah. So we
Sure.
qualified for 2 Oceans. I go and run 2 Oceans and people follow me that year. I don't know the route. I know nothing about it. We get in 6:52. The cutoff is 7 hours. Then the guys were saying like, "Maggie, please, can we see you at Comrades?" I'm like, "I will never run that thing."
Yeah, that's stretching it.
That's like,
Because
no.
from a marathon to 56, 2 Oceans was already a stretch.
I'm like, I said, "Listen,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not
running."
crazy.
I'm not crazy. I'm like, I'm only running 2 Oceans. I only ran it because, I entered. And there was nothing I could do, and I wanted to go to Cape Town.
Yeah.
Now I just wanted to do 21.
Yeah.
If I could, I would downgrade. But see you at Comrades. No, I did not run in Comrades. So that year I didn't run Comrades. That was 2015. In 2016, early 2016, my mother passes away. So after that 2 Oceans, I then start running marathons and ultras, and people just followed me.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, "Wazama Kelwani, Wazamaki."
Yeah.
That's
that's where the marquee comes from.
Yeah, the marquee actually comes from spinning, the spinning class. Because in the spinning class, I'm very vocal.
Yes.
Wazamaki.
Oh, yes, Zamaki is the guy next to you. Yes.
And then it came, and then it went into running. Because some of the guys who were spinning with me was there now on the road.
Okay.
And I would also tell them, "Wazamaki," and it stayed. So that name then stayed from there. A lot of runners don't know my name is Shahieda.
Yeah.
They really think my
Mikey.
name is
This
Mikey.
is Mikey.
It's Mikey. And that was then 2015. Then 2016, my mother passes away. And then in March, and I then start feeding the comrades because now I lost again. And I'm not going to depression. This thing that I'm doing is really helping me. I enter for Comrades because now I have a big why I'm running Comrades.
Wow.
Because as I started running, from saying I will never run Comrades, I then said one day, now I'll only run Comrades when I have a reason to run it.
And there it was. There was your reason.
And there was my reason. So my first Comrades, I went to run in memory of my mom and my late husband and my daughter. Because when my mom passed, it was hectic. And I then was now like, where to from here? But I wasn't as depressed as when my husband passed.
Yes.
And also my mom was elderly. I really saw her suffer.
Struggle.
She was diabetic.
Yeah.
She was diabetic. Her leg was amputated, but that woman showed up for me all the time. Then I went to run Comrades, and I ran Comrades with a very dear friend of mine, whose dad also passed, and then we teamed up and we ran together.
Yep.
And then we had our own little bus at Comrades. We don't know the route, we know nothing.
Sure.
And we ran, and people just followed me at Comrades.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't know anything about the route.
Yeah, you follow at your own risk.
Yeah, they're like, we trust you. And we get there at 11:52.
Wow.
2016 was my first Comrades. And that year, the slogan was, is October.
Will humble you.
And that is the best slogan to describe Comrades.
Wow.
Because it humbles you. It strips you from arrogance. You thinking you've got money and everything. On that road, none of that matters at all.
Wow.
I think it's like the guys who rides Amashova.
Yeah, I've cycled the route Amashova. I'm one of them.
And you know that route.
Yeah, I know in China, all those sections.
With us, all of those sections,
yes, all those
that's
climbs.
what we run. So it then taught us. And even with you, I mean, when you go and ride Amashova, it's a tough route.
Yeah, it's
like
not easy at all.
Not
I can't
easy.
imagine running. I mean, it can be tough on the bike. Get to have a lot of relief on the downhills and the
absolutely. You know,
you gotta take pain on your knees on those descents.
On those descents, and you go and ride this Joburg race and 947, and you go like, okay, but Amashova is still tough. You know? And we then ran, and it was the most amazing thing I've done.
Wow.
We ran side by side with this ninja red of mine. We cried at the start. We cried after every cutoff. And we made it.
Wow.
We fed off each other's energy with all the other passengers. I spoke for 12 hours. And we made it. And at the finish, we cried that ugly cry to say, good gracious, we did that. And the following year, I applied to be an official bus driver. I mean, it was only my second Comrades. And the first one, I drove an unofficial bus. I applied to be a bus driver because we apply every year.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know. I thought you just show up with a flag. And
no, no. To be an official pacer, you apply for it. So I then applied, and I got selected because the guys have now seen me pacing your two oceans and things. Yes. And for my back-to-back, it was the first time that I drove an official bus at Comrades. That was 2017. And parked that bus 11:52 again.
Wow.
Or 52, somewhere there. And since then, I've just been, every year, I'm driving the 12-hour bus.
Wow.
And do I want to drive a faster bus? Can I? I don't know. But I don't want to find out. I really love driving the 12-hour bus. because it gives me so much purpose, and it's so fulfilling to take people like myself. I'm not tiny. You have your 9 to 5, but you really just want to go and finish comrades. It's not about prize money. You really just want to finish. You have that big why. You just want this little medal. And if I can be that vehicle to help at least one runner get there, it really fulfills my soul.
Wow, you get a huge sense of accomplishment.
Absolutely.
Through this bus that is so heavy with purpose. So many people in your bus have their own stories.
Yes.
And they are here to get their own therapy and escape or healing from whatever it is they're going through.
True that. So, like, whenever I give comrades talks, I tell the runners, I don't like to call them novices, because we are all novices every year. I mean, there's no 2 amateurs that are the same. What happened last year, it's in the past. It's a new year. So I'm also a novice at Comrades every year. I ran my 8th Comrades this year, but it's still new. Anything can happen on that road.
Sure.
So I tell the guys every year, ask yourself, why are you running Comrades?
That anchoring, that purpose, that sense of why is very important, because it becomes a strong driver beyond the physical.
Absolutely. Because Comrades is literally 20% physical fitness and 180% mental fortitude.
Wow. Because
that mental fortitude will carry you when the chips are down.
Wow.
I mean, you go through the motions on that road.
Yeah.
You can be super fit, but if the mind is not right, the whole house of cards will come crumbling down. You've seen some of the elites bailing out for different reasons.
Yes.
I don't know what the reasons are, and I'm not going to say they are not fit mentally, because I don't know.
Yes.
But I've heard where some of the guys that I know will say, no, Benila, like, why am I putting myself through this?
Yeah.
And I tell the newbies every year, you're going to ask yourself, why am I here?
On that route.
And
if your answer is not strong, you might be in trouble.
You might be in trouble. You can't say, because does it and he runs it in 7 hours, when I'm going to show him who he is.
Yeah.
And then Jiggy.
Go back to the slogan, is October.
Is October.
There's no grounds for competition
Absolutely
here.
Not.
And shallow purposes.
Exactly. Wow. And if your reason is based that innocent is there, I'm going to show him, and innocent passes you, what other reason do you have?
Sure, that I'm going to try him next year. Oh, sure.
So that is it for me. So for me, it's just 12 hours. Why am I here?
Wow.
For me, I'll take at least one runner to the finish, fulfill my purpose, whatever my purpose is on the day.
Yes.
It might not even be taking someone to the finish, or just be there just to give someone water.
Yes.
There's a lot of water on the road, but you'll find that person just needed someone that will just say, no, this is for you. I can see you need it more than me.
And that just keeps you going.
And that's what keeps me going.
It's a big responsibility, Shahieda. I mean, looking at you come down, I was positioned at the 73-kilometer mark. There were hundreds of people behind you. And I got overwhelmed with this feeling of, wow, this is leadership in a different context. This is big responsibility. And also, because you also have screens where you can see what the projection is. And the commentator sometimes projecting you at 12:05, and you start getting nervous for this bus driver. How do you make sure, how do you deal with that pressure of that responsibility to say, I've got hundreds of people behind me, I'm a 12-hour bus driver, and I better make it on time? How do you deal with that pressure?
So firstly, I don't feed the pressure. Because the moment you start feeding that what if I don't, it festers. It's like a sore. And then you keep thinking, what if? And the what if gets
bigger and bigger in your head.
and bigger in your head.
Yeah.
Then you start panicking.
Yes.
So I don't feed it at all. I just listen, we're going to make it.
Wow.
Even if I'm BSing myself, I BS myself.
Oh, you're being ignorant or you...
like Bonala, we are going forward.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they always ask me that, like, what if? I said, I just don't feed it.
Wow.
It's like, when you have a negative thought, and if you stay in that moment, it just becomes, it spirals.
Yeah.
And you stay in that moment. And I say, well, the Almighty put me there for a purpose. He knows. If it doesn't happen,
then it didn't happen.
Then it didn't happen.
Wow. So would you say it's as simple as, what if we don't make it, or what if we don't take off? And then it's on the opposite end, what if we do? What if we do
What
take
if
off?
we do? Wow. And that's always what I say. When they say, like, but Mikey, what if you don't make it? I say, what if I do?
Wow.
And then I'm like that little engine that says, I think I can, I think I can, I know I can, I know I can. And I keep on playing it in my mind.
Yeah.
Listen, hip hop raised me. So I got bars for days.
Oh, you got bars for days. Interesting, eh? Story for another day.
And there's a track that my late husband was a huge Jay-Z fan. And his initials was actually Jay-Z, Jeffrey Zenzele. So he's huge in Hova. And the track that says it's a hard knock life.
Yeah.
It is a hard knock life.
Resonates big time with you.
Big time. And we feed and till I collapse. Eminem.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, it's my go-to track.
That's quite a powerful track to associate with the sports where you stretch your body to the limit. And it's pretty much as if you're saying, well, as long as I'm not collapsing and passing out, I'm going to keep going.
Like,
Wow.
So I tell you, I listened, my God, on that, like from around 70K, it goes in my mind till I collapse.
Wow.
I'm going to drive this, I'm going to ride this till the wheels come off.
Wow.
And I'm going to take it to the wire.
Wow.
And if I collapse, I will collapse after the finish.
Sure. Shahieda, tell us about some of your low moments where it's feeling like the wheels are falling off here and young Toba manje, it's weighing heavy on me. How do you, navigate that situation? And how do you plain simply come out, with your followers with manje? Do you contain it? How do you deal with those really tough moments on that route, Masai Toba, and you're feeling like, hey, maybe this was a bad idea, maybe this year is going to be different? Does it even ever happen?
It does. There's a track from the game. You can see I know my stuff.
Yeah, a lot of hip hop.
That says, I forgot. I'll get to the name. And when it happens, I have a very close friend that I normally run with, and she's normally my co-driver. And I will say to her, no tops, let me go to that moment for the next kilometer. I just want to reconnect with myself. She's also the timekeeper. And I will not tell the passengers that we behind schedule, because then people start panicking. And people, it's like your kids. They expect you. They know you're going to show up. You better have it.
There's no such, mommy didn't show up. Mommy didn't show up to pick me up, from she will find a way.
And that's why they wait for you. because you are coming, you know. So No Tops knows that I'm in that moment. I just need to, but we keep moving, obviously. Get into that moment, and then I go back to a place whereby the coffin went down when my husband passed at the funeral, and I was like, "This is it, man. Nigga. This is what we boast about."
Now I'm
You
here.
let you now I'm here. Like you always said, you'll take a bullet for me. And he literally did. And he always said, you know, if I should tap out, if one of the two of us should tap out here, it would rather be me, because I don't think I'm as strong as you to raise this child, to love.
Yeah.
I'm so dependent on you.
Yeah.
You're like my ride or die, like, you know. And I go back to that point, and I then get out and I pray about it. I then start harmonizing with myself. I then go back to say, you know, when Park said, I still want to see you eat, but not at my table. You know, when you start thinking about haters, like, no, it's grand, you know. And I get there and I say, there are so many people who want to see you succeed. There might be one or two that doesn't want to see you succeed, but I really don't care about those. It's okay. And I see my mom, she was very active in my running journey.
Very supportive,
quite involved.
Yeah.
And I see her showing up and saying, that's my goal.
Wow.
And I take it for a kilometer.
Wow.
And I listen to my playlist. Well, I don't have earphones.
Yeah.
But it's there.
Wow. And that's like your anchor that you talk about. That's a little deeper than the cheerleading.
Yes.
That depth.
The depth of it. There's a track from Busta Rhymes, Conglomerate.
Okay.
And you know, when you look at the conglomerate, it's not just only this little business that you have. It's something that you've built through blood, sweat, and tears over time. It's a legacy that you are living. And I'm very blessed and highly favored. I don't like the word fortunate, because fortunate is always monetary. That I'm chosen to do this, and there's so much belief in it. And it's a normal story, normal people that just want to get there, and that I'm building. So this conglomerate that I have on that 12-hour bus is that conglomerate that's going to the finish.
Wow.
You know, and you only need to do one step at a time.
Yeah.
Don't need much.
Yeah.
One step, repeat, one step, repeat.
Yeah.
Until the finish. And I always tell them, firstly, don't look like your problems and never fold.
Wow.
Your enemies shouldn't see you coming. Whoever the enemy is.
Yeah.
You know? Wash your face. Show up. Look good. You know, when you look good, you smell good.
You feel good.
You feel good. And it builds the confidence.
Yeah.
You know? No matter what you're going to tell people, they're going to believe you. Because if you don't believe yourself, who's going to believe you?
Wow.
So when you want to lie to someone, ask yourself, well, I believe that first. And I carry it through the wire, and I take it there. And I absolutely love the stinky hugs, the tears at the finish, and runners just saying, Maggie, please take me there.
Wow.
And the clubs are sending people to me.
Wow.
I mean, some of the guys don't run with me, but when they go to Comrades, they will say, make sure you stick to Mikey's bus. Don't let her pass you.
Wow.
Because if she passes you, it's chai. Learn to walk. Do what she says. You will definitely get to the finish line. It's a guaranteed finish.
And what I also observe, it's almost as if that bus grows over time on the day, because it picks up passengers who have seen their fair share of the challenges and the humbleness that Comrades offers. And now they've got very little left. The wheels are falling off, and here comes Maki's bus. I better jump on. And sometimes, the fire comes back and they're able to continue. And then you find your responsibility then growing and your sense of purpose to deliver those people becoming bigger and bigger.
Yeah. And an interesting fact, I never look back when I'm driving the bus. I don't look back. I don't see how big the bus is on the day. I'll see videos that people send. Because this year, like at the finish, it was like a train.
It was massive.
It was like massive. I was shocked.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. So I feel if I have to see the cross that I'm carrying, I think it will be heavy. So, the weight. So ignorance is bliss.
Wow. It brings back to that point of worrying too much and stressing when you're seeing the responsibility that you're carrying.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So I don't look back. I go around, I'll go to a water point and I'll open my skirt and I'll just say, put water. And they'll put water, ice cream, and I'll go around the bus and give to whoever can take at the time. I do that. I'm normally very dirty after the race, I tell you. Feed everyone. And you'll find someone just needs, as I said, that sachet of water or that ice cream. Or guys who are supporting me, they'll come with biltong. They know I love biltong. And appetizer.
Yeah.
And it shares. Whoever gets a sip will get a sip.
Yeah.
One lady said that's the best sip of appetizer I ever had.
Wow.
On that road. And I'm like, oh, okay.
And you find that this is somebody who probably have had appetizer plenty of times. But
yes.
That moment when you needed it the most.
It slept different. And yeah, and that's why I go back to run Comrades. I mean, there are many races, but my most iconic race is definitely Comrades.
Yeah.
Two Oceans, I also love. It's a beautiful race,
Very beautiful.
It's scenic, Chapman's Peak, all of those things. It's beautiful. But it doesn't have that thing that Comrades have. And also because Two Oceans is run in Cape Town, so not many people can afford going to Cape Town. It has
become quite expensive.
It's quite pricey.
The flights and miles you can get on a bus and drive down to Durban. So it's not as
barrier. Absolutely. And we travel in groups and it just makes the journey so much more amazing. And Comrades is owned by South Africa.
Wow.
There's no other race like it in the world.
Yeah. It's quite massive.
It is, and it has that South African authenticity, that flavor. It has, and you don't get it anywhere. I mean, you guys support. Like you stand on the side of the road for the whole day.
Yep.
You'll see the first runners, and then you'll see people coming all the way.
Yeah.
And you just stand there, and you are in awe. People might be crawling when they get to the spot where you are, or they'll just come and stand in front of you, and you must now diagnose what do you need.
Wow.
You might not have much, but the little bit that you give to someone on that road, they will never forget you. And I think that is what made Comrades so amazing. Like those small little things, you give someone maheo, or you just say, you're looking good, you're almost there. You can't pronounce the name, but you are there to really just keep the person going.
Wow. Do you ever, I mean, you probably know a fair chunk of your passengers in the bus, but there's a lot of strangers that you meet on the day, what advice do you give to people, somebody who wants to be a passenger in Maki's bus next year? How do they best prepare to fit that and to be in a position where you can help them best?
Firstly, humble yourself. Train, obviously. I walk. I have a mean walk. I can walk at 8 minutes a kilometer.
Wow.
But on the day, even if you've never run with me before, you will make a friend. I always pair the runners. I said, tell them, introduce yourself to
the
person next to you.
Wow.
And you are responsible for that person. Because I
Wow.
found that it's human nature. When you are responsible for someone, you show up.
Wow.
Because
That sense of community is important.
Absolutely.
And I'm not here alone. I've got a buddy here.
Yeah.
And I'm responsible for the buddy.
Absolutely. And
Wow.
I tell them, listen, we are all suffering here. No one is special. If you are cramping, if you're in pain, we're all cramping and we're all in pain. There's nothing special about you.
You're
Siyafana sonke. Listen, like going up in Changa, like going up with us hill.
Yeah.
Whether you are running it in 6 hours as they lead or us the 12 hours,
Yeah.
we're doing the same route,
and the
same pain,
climb.
the same climbs.
Yeah.
It's nothing different.
Yeah.
So if uzoza uzotetemala, I'm not sure what I mean, I look at it, you think you are by yourself, but listen, and one of my running partners says to me, you know, Maki, you are mean. I said, no, I'm not. I just tell you like it is.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, you're going to be in pain on the day. You're going to go through the motions.
Yeah.
I don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah. So it's nothing new when you start saying, oh, I'm cramping, or it's nothing new. We expect to cramp.
Yeah, and you don't train not to cramp or not to be in pain. You train to manage it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you have ridden the cradle how many times?
Yeah, definitely. You just know how to get around when those challenges come.
Yes, and it is what it is. There's nothing special about you. It's just how the mind is wired.
Wow.
There's a race I ran, Swashi, the 100-miler.
Okay.
It's 161 kilometers in East London. I ran it over 25 and a half hours. And the mind showed up again.
Sure.
One foot in front of the other. Ran through the night, through the day.
One step at a time.
One step at a time.
Sure.
And it's like life, you know. Building your house, doing your job one brick at a time.
Yeah.
And you don't do it because your neighbor is building it. Because now you want the same house as Ino or the same house as Mikey.
Yeah.
You don't know what hustles we're doing. Yeah. You don't know the grind that's going into it.
Yeah. What's your why?
What is your why?
Yeah.
There's a lane which is carved through for each one of us, you know. And you will get there eventually, but don't compete with no one.
Wow. Because
the moment you start competing with someone else besides yourself, you then stop liking the sport. You stop it. Now it becomes a chore, and it's displeasurable. So I do it because it fulfills my soul. My daughter hates running. I'm not gonna force her to run. She doesn't like it, but she's there for me. Like Bona, she's like, she tracks me.
Yeah.
She knows I'm going to a race.
Yeah.
So when she makes plans, she goes like, "Mommy, are you running on Sunday?"
Yeah.
Yeah. But show up, do the training. It's not going to fall in your lap. You have to do the work.
Yeah.
And you have to be consistent. You know, if you don't go for a ride, 94.7 is going to show you.
Yeah.
That Jan Smuts.
Yeah. You know it. It's going to be a filter. It's going to show who are the guys that are not prepared.
You flames.
Yeah.
You know, pushing your bike up in Changa, up with us. It's hell. You know that.
Yeah.
You know, but you still train. But you train so that the pain becomes bearable. And maybe you don't even pain on the day, but that is what you are training for.
Yeah, that you become stronger than the pain that you face.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sure. Would you say any difference between the up run and the down run? Anything fundamentally different?
No, the one you finish in Pietermaritzburg, the other one you finish in Durban.
Oh.
It has, the down run is only called down because Siayahla. That's why it's called a down. You climb.
Yeah.
Like, listen, 80% of that race you are climbing. And the only down is when you go down Fields Hill, which is about 3 kilometers. And by then, the body is depleted. The quads are on fire.
Sure.
And the camber on the road is horrible.
Sure.
But you're climbing.
Sure.
The up run is just you climb all the way
Yeah.
to Pietermaritzburg. But yeah, no.
Yeah, it's pretty much not fundamental difference.
Yeah, but the recovery on the up run is better and it's quicker.
Okay.
The recovery on the down run, it's brutal.
Wow.
It's very taxing on the body.
Okay.
The quads, the back, so you have to do a lot of strength training.
Okay.
That's why I do a lot of spinning. I do a
Yeah,
lot
that
of
helps you
core
with that.
strength
Okay.
training. It really helps
Yeah.
to at least not run to the side. I'm not sure if you've seen runners slouching to the one
I
side.
see. Especially after it's been quite some time.
Yes.
Then you start leaning. The body language tells us that you're
like,
suffering.
that you're suffering. It has to do with core strength and core conditioning.
Yeah.
Because it's a hammering on the body, and it actually happens with the down run.
Okay.
Because when you go down Fields Hill, then
it hurts you on those joints.
Hurts. It really hurts. So that's why I do a lot of strength training, a lot of gym work.
You can handle that.
I don't do gels and stuff. I don't have anything against it, but I eat on the road.
I can imagine carbo loading is quite important to have your.
I don't do that.
Is it?
I just eat normally. I'll eat my pap, my meat. I'll eat rice. I eat even on the road.
If you're gonna do your comrades, it's coming up this Saturday. You don't change your eating habits.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I will omit some stuff that I know will have an adverse reaction on the system.
Yes.
So those I don't really indulge in.
Yes.
But I don't change anything.
Yeah.
I do my normal, even on the route. I eat. I don't do gels because it tends to make me nauseous. So I don't do gels at all. I tried it before and it just didn't work for me. I have my bananas, maheo, sweets, biltong, all those potatoes.
All that stuff,
That's what I have, and that's what sustains me on the road.
So, Shahieda, as we go into the closing, where can people find you if they want to, find out more about how to prepare for a comrade, or what race are you going to be pacing? How do people get a hold of that information? People that want to get closer to you as passengers in a bus, or your lifestyle in terms of how to best get ready for a comrade.
Social handles, it's Shahieda Tungo. Shahieda THUNGO, both on Insta and Facebook. I write quite a bit on Facebook.
Okay, quite active there.
Quite active on Facebook.
Yeah.
I have an account on TikTok, but I don't post. I'm just a fly on the wall there.
Yeah.
And then I am on X, but not very, very active there. But Insta and Facebook, I'm quite active. It's a very mature platform. I prefer those. I write quite in-depth race reviews, and also my journey as I navigate through life. Last year I had quite an intense run at Comrades. So didn't stop running and came out
stronger.
Absolutely.
Any closing comments, Shahieda? Anything you want to say to anyone out there? I mean, your story is quite rich with depth in terms of your rock bottom. You faced suicide, you faced cancer, and you came out strong. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are facing serious challenges. Any closing comments?
The worst is just where you are in that current moment. Talk, write. I journal a lot. I write a lot. I found music, quite therapeutic, deep-rooted music. I can listen to anything. I had to find a purpose for myself. And at times, you just want someone to just sit there and listen and not give you advice, and it is okay. But don't stay in the moment, because the moment is dark, because even the sun comes up the following day. So don't stay in the moment. Be there, but move away from it. Don't fester the moment. Don't feed it, because the moment you feed it, it just becomes so heavy and you stop seeing the light, even if you are sitting in a well-lit room.
Wow. I'm truly inspired. I think the story is going to move a lot of people out there. Thank you so much for making time to share your story. Deeply, deeply, deeply appreciated. It's been a great pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
That's it, guys. It's Deep Deep Diaries. You can't get any deeper than this. If you like this kind of stuff, please hit like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next episode. Signing out.
Peace.
Cheers.